And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Always a busy day. And of course, this week, 8 or 9 shows coming up this week. Still waiting on one more to come into. But our thanks to Jess Kelly Adams for leading off today, too, as we're presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, the CadenGordonShow.com, today's best country mix, Supcraft Barbecue in Taos, New Mexico, out there, and our friends at Lady TLC's Travel Agency. Well, I tell you guys, we had a blast from the past. You know what? The good ones, they always find their way back to music because back in the day, she had a great album called My World, and we tracked her down. Cyndi Thomson here to the Backstage Pass at HighTideCountry.net and KKTC True Country 99.9. Cyndi, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
It's good. Good to see you, too. And first, I got to just commend you on what a great backdrop behind you, too, with
Honestly, it's the only clean place in my house for and the lighting. And I was like, well, this works. So yeah, here we go.
Well, let's talk about the journey because you mentioned it's on and off, and so much has changed since the album My World came out in 2001. I know we're not going to talk about ages today or nothing like that or dates. We're going to just sweep that under the rug. But you're not a stranger to this too, and you came back to this thing holding a number of conversations and taking a lot of calls and asking people how this thing called the music industry has changed. Most of it now people do on their own, like I do with this show and things like that. But talk about the journey from the album till now and the latest single for Slow Dancing in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh my gosh. You don't have enough time. I don't think we scheduled enough time. I stepped away from music for a good bit, just had a family, lived a very simple life here in Franklin, Tennessee. And in fact, about 3 years ago, I started a jewelry company. So I make one of a kind pieces and a lot of artists wear it, like Lainey Wilson and other artists. But after I started that and kind of just, I don't know, was just thinking about music again. I've always thought about
Mm-hmm.
making another record. I just didn't know how it would happen. And so it's been a year in the making. I started writing over a year ago with Tommy, who I wrote My World with. We
Mm-hmm.
reconnected and I said, hey, you want to help me write a record? And I didn't know what the music industry could be for me now. It's been a long time. And so I was sharing with you that I just took a lot of meetings. I didn't know if I wanted a major record deal and a label
Mm-hmm.
deal. And so many artists are doing it on their own now independently. And so there's just a new way of releasing music, and you can release as much as you want and
Mm-hmm.
do it the way that you want to do. And so I kind of just started a company and with some other people, and we just dove headfirst into making music and just figuring it out. And it's been amazing because I was worried that I wouldn't have the songs. And so as soon as we started writing, I knew we had that second record that I dreamed of making. And so Slow
Mm-hmm.
Dancing in Jackson, Mississippi is the second song that I've released off this EP that's coming. The first song was called Georgia and Me because I'm
Mm-hmm.
from Georgia. I live in Tennessee. But Slow Dancing is just, I think it's just a really it's a Cyndi song. It's what
Mm-hmm.
would have been on My World if, I had it back then. I love songs. And so it is just a different I don't know, it's just got this really romantic movie type uh imagery written into
Mm-hmm.
it. So
It gave me that feel too, like just watching that love story or kind of watching a movie that has that kind of feel. Very just great feeling out there too. And I really compared it to you had done a love songs EP that was 2001, I believe, and there was a song on there. A lot of people may remember that you wrote "What I Really Meant to Say." Talk about
yes.
this one too, because this one was one of your most streamed ones. I remember back in the day because I was playing it on the stations that I was with at the time down here in Texas.
Yes, it was my very first single I ever had off the My World record, and it went number one for 3 weeks. And
Mm-hmm.
it was a wild start to a brand new career. It just resonated with fans, and I love that because it was an honest, true song that I had written with Tommy and another writer, Chris Waters, just about something I had experienced. I was dating someone who I really loved at the time, and we'd had to break up. And what I really wanted to say to him was that I loved him and I wanted to stay together. And so we just kind of wrote this song out of that story. And I was just shocked by what it did at radio. It was
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
When you look back at the My World album too, and you talk about that particular song, there were just so many things on there. I mean, "I'm Gone" was one of my favorites too. If You Could Only See was another one of my favorite titles off of that too, and I
Thanks.
believe we played a lot of these too. There Goes the Boy. I mean, just that country music that to me, I know you grew up on that. You've got the appreciation for it because I often say that particular era of late 80s to early 90s to even the heart of 90s to early 2000, often imitated, never duplicated. I don't think we'll ever see that again, that run for so many great artists. And it puts you right there because right in that pocket of just so many great people, Sarah Evans and Martina McBride and Faith Hill and Shania Twain. I mean, everybody, Reba and Terry Clark doing their thing out there. It's just amazing to see that music. There's still an audience for it today.
Yes. I mean, that was such an interesting time for music. The songs sounded different, the stories were different. I know for the early 2000s, I came out the same time with Blake Shelton and Brad Paisley and Carolyn Dawn Johnson. And so we were like at festivals together. We were the new artists on the scene. And it was so awesome just to get to run that time together and just, you know, watch the fans respond to that music. There was just a different style to it in a way. So my hope is that there's some nostalgia in what I bring with this new music. I have so much music that I've written, and so I just can't wait to share all of it with you. It's been hard to decide which ones to release, because and that's the downside of kind of doing it on your own is you can go, I think I'm gonna put this song out, and then you can change your mind, and that's not always good. But yeah, so.
And not having to answer to anybody but yourself. That's has to be
Right.
one
And
of the
that's
best
also
parts.
stressful because I'm not only the creative on this, but everyone's like, should we do that? It's like business stuff too. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know. So
Well, I had to ask you about the one "I'm Gone" off the record too, because I remember again spinning that one too at the same time. Just another one of those great country songs that has a good feel to it, writing lyrically very good too, and a great message to send to someone out there too who can really feel something like that.
yeah, well, I love that song because the music video was pretty amazing. Like I have to say, the creativity behind that. We called Ty Pennington, and he was in the video as my boyfriend, and I got to rappel out of a house and dance in a moving truck. I think it's so funny because that shot specifically was at the very end of the night. It might have been early morning, maybe 3 or 4 a.m. And I had a fever of like 102, and I thought I was going to collapse. And so someone just showed up with some whiskey, and I took a couple shots, and my fever was like gone. And I was just dancing in the moving truck with all the lights. And so it was a fun. I loved making that video, but it was a long day. But
I can
well
imagine
worth
too as
it.
well. Well, I love your music. Even going back to, I'll leave the date out of it, but I'm gonna say an album called "This Time."
Yeah.
If you want to know the dates, you can look it up too. We'll talk about that too. Taking a quick time out here on the show again. CMA Fest 2024 coming up, made possible by these sponsors. We'll be there June 6th to the 9th, having a little fun out there, doing some interviews at the Ascend Amphitheater, Fanfare X, and of course all the cool things at the stages. We're going backstage at the Opry June the 9th for Sunday Morning Country. It's the 42nd annual Sunday Morning Country coming up here. Looking forward to being a part of that too. Our good friend Jonathan Bond will be there too. And time to tell you about him. Jonathan Bond out there too. If you're looking for the best in Christian country music out there, he's Grammy-nominated recording artist. Got to talk to him the other day. Check him out, jonathanbond.com. Click the link below, go right to his YouTube channel. And he actually worked with Stella Parton on his latest project out there. We handed it out at the Kyle Park concert the other night too, which we enjoyed down at the beach. And of course, our friends at Jewelry by Tommy. If you're looking for that perfect gift for your spouse, friend, or family member, me, Cyndi, any artist out there too, send them some jewelry. She's got her company too. Jewelry by Tommy's got you covered. Burley System at yahoo.com today to order. Or if you like jewelry, hey, Cyndi makes it too as well. So if you order it there, it's a good situation too. We're back. A quick time out here. More to come. KKTC, True Country, 99.9. And our friends at hightidecountry.net. Stay tuned. More from coming up here with Cyndi Thomson on the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned.
Ever thought about owning your own business? Tanya Lapsley-Cockett did. She decided a little over 5 years ago that she was going to be an entrepreneur, so she started her travel business. Tanya is married and works a full-time job. Her business has given her amazing opportunities. Not only does she get to help people create memories by booking their vacations, sporting and entertainment tickets, rental cars, etc., but it has also allowed her to help other families create legacy income. The travel industry is extremely lucrative and is an $8 trillion industry. The travel industry is projected to earn in excess of $15 trillion over the next 10 years. The travel industry pays its professionals up to 70 to 80% commission on the travel that they book for themselves and their clients. As a travel business owner, Tanya books travel and teaches others how to own and operate their own travel business. She is a director in training on the marketing side of her business, where she has helped over 90 families start their own businesses. If you're interested in owning your own travel business, please contact Tanya at 917-743-1199 or at ladytlc3555@me.com.
The Kate Morton Show, today's best country mix, is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thekategordonshow.com for more information on the show.
The Bangtail Pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show, Cyndi Thomson joining us here on the Backstage Pass, KKTC True Country, 99.9, and our friends out there too, hightidecountry.net, streaming in Oklahoma too as well. Slow Dancing in Jackson, Mississippi, the current single from the great Cyndi Thomson out there too. Hey, I got to ask you about this because I want to know, it's always different for everybody, but the first time you stood next to someone who's performed at the Grand Ole Opry, yourself in the center circle, whatever it may be, once you got that opportunity, does it feel, I guess, two-part question. One, does it feel like just yesterday? And two, I can imagine the nerves that probably went through every time you step on a stage of that magnitude, right?
Yes. I mean, it was so long ago when I played it the first time, and it was just, I mean, just as nerve-wracking this time. And what was cool about it, though, was that Vince was so amazing. He's just been a good champion and a friend to me, a true, like you talk about, he's one of the best people I know. And that is the truth. Like, regardless of, he is really a great guy. And he was like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want you to play with me at the Opry." He's like, "All right, it's done. So I was like, "Really?" So that that like made it even, more nerve-wracking, because he's a legend in that place. He's a legend in country music and music in general. He's the lead singer of the Eagles now, and so I don't know. It was just a dream come true. I had wanted to play the Opry for both of my parents. I knew I was coming back to music at some point, and my dad actually passed away not too long ago, and that was one of the last things we talked about. I was like, "I'm sorry, Dad, I didn't get to play the Opry for you one more time." And so that night in particular was special because my mom came with my family, and I was able to honor my parents from the stage. And like I said, on the stage that night, my dad had the best seat in the house.
They did. Yeah, no doubt too. And I can tell you that it's the hardest thing, Cyndi, when you go through that, lose a parent. I lost one this past fall, and it just never heals. Or they say time heals all wounds, but at the same time, this is one that's going to be open for quite some time because music is therapy. It heals me, and what you've done out there too with a lot of your music is really something. We're all going to have that great seat in the Lord's house one day too, and they've got the best seat looking down on us too. And there are guardian angels now, and that's the way I feel it. And things happen for a certain reason, or it's meant to happen, thanks to people that make it happen for you in your life. Hey, let's go back to one I mentioned there before break, called This Time. I love this project too because this was about back in my early days, no pun intended for age to be released here, but still in radio, going strong there at the same time, and playing this because at the time, country, Americana, things like that were hot back during that time period. But I love this album, and especially like it's the first time.
Well, I don't really talk about that album much because that was just a quiet project that I did. Like It's the First Time was a song I wrote for the first record. And I remember being in the studio one night, and Paul Worley, one of the producers on the record, was like, "Go in the other room and sing it on the piano." And so we worked through it, and we decided not to put it on My World, and that we would wait. And so I never really released it officially. In fact, that album I've kind of made disappear for now, so that kind of the focal of this new music kind of rises to the top, and I might end up going and recording like it's the first time again, because
Ooh,
I'm with you. That song, there's something about that
yeah.
song. Like, I remember the day we wrote it, it was a late afternoon. It was like, all right, this is something special. So thank you for pointing that out.
Well,
That
I
means a
told you.
lot.
Hey, we we like to know a lot about music, and it does us in the same return here too. Because a lot of things we do our homework and research here on the show. It's very important to us too, and bringing back some of those great songs, at least that I grew up on. And again, I don't have to answer to anybody, Cyndi, because it's my platform, and I can talk about what I want to talk about and put stuff out there too. Again, slow dancing in Jackson, Mississippi too. I love the feel for this one too, because you can be in a mood of just like the worst mood, have like the worst day, and turn on a song like this. I was actually listening to it driving back from the beach yesterday too. My wife's, who is that? And I'm like, Cyndi Thomson. Remember back in the day when we used to have some songs that we were doing, what I really meant to say, and all these other great songs that she had put out too. And I said, yeah, she's coming on the show tomorrow. And I just said, I felt so just immersed in that song, like so connected
Thank
to
you.
it. So beautifully done the way you did it with the vocals and the instrumentation in the background. The making of this one just had to be fun. And I can't wait to see what's next you mentioned on this upcoming record. I'm excited.
Yeah, we have a couple more singles coming your way, and then a possible cover. And
Okay.
then there's so much more music we've not recorded that we're going to go in and record and do it all over again through the rest of the year. So that's the luxury of this whole new way, is that you can release a lot of songs, and you can release acoustic versions, or you can
Hmm.
release, just it doesn't have to look like it used to. And so it's been a learning curve. I've got the cliff notes on it, and I'm just, doing my best. So
All you can do, like I said, keep putting it out there too as well. And that's the exciting thing, because I know, goals and aspirations for the rest of this year, now that you're back in it and kind of immersed in it too at the same time, you know what direction you're going. There has to be a lot of those high ceilings coming up too as well. And just taking that risk and, getting out there again and really putting your vocals to some great songs, and also working with a great team, such as producers and writers and things like that, right? Collaboration.
yeah, we have a good team that we've, started to build. And it's just been, like I said, it's been a lot of learning, because it's just a new way of doing things. But with the right team, you really can accomplish a lot. And so we have a lot of goals this year, a lot of dreams and ideas that we'd like to achieve. And I can't say much, but
Hmm.
there's, some cool things possibly happening. And I am playing CMA Fest. I am playing June 8th at the CMA close-up stage at 1:45 with the song Suffragettes.
Oh
So
yeah.
that'll
All
be
right.
fun. So maybe I'll see you there at
I
some
I'm gonna
point.
be around during the daytime because we got the daytime passes for media out there. We're gonna be
Yeah,
doing
you
all
got
the
to come
weekend.
see the
I
show.
got to
Yeah.
come see it then. All right, we'll do that out there too at the stages, and then, of course, we'll do another one of these impromptu from Facebook or phone or whatever we end up doing out there too. But yeah, we'll know more. We'll be out there from June 6th to 9th, and of course, having a lot of fun interviewing a lot of the great artists like yourself too. And
Thank you.
congratulations on playing those stage. Song Suffragettes are just a fantastic group out there too. Love their music, and it's the beauty of Nashville is anybody who's everybody is going to be in town for that great event out there too. I want to ask you about get your opinion on this latest movement now, because we mentioned all those great singers of that time, the ones you came up with, all the great females. But now it just seems like, you can go fishing, throw a hook in the water, and you're going to pull out a Lainey Wilson or pull out Megan Maroney or Ashley McBride, Carly Pierce. This is cool now to see for the first time, for me at least. I think my opinion, it's long overdue to have this female movement, because you turn on somebody out there, Kelsey Kulik or whoever it is, Ashley Cook blowing up now, Hannah Ellis, all
Yeah,
these great female artists doing it again for country music. What's your opinion on this female empowerment movement?
I love it. I mean, I think it's important to have a balance, right? Also, great music rises to the top. I mean, and that's what's great about now, is that there are so many people releasing music, and so many females and males releasing music
Mm-hmm.
each week. And so there's just it's the wild wild west. It's just an open, just landscape for anybody to make music. But I love every one of those girls that you mentioned. I follow, I watch. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm just like, wow, it's pretty amazing to watch that happen. And, especially Lainey, she's been wearing my jewelry, and the CMA awards this past year, where she won Entertainer of the Year, and I mean, so many awards. She was wearing my necklace, and now it's in the
Mm-hmm.
Country Music Hall of Fame with her amazing outfit that she wore that night, my jewelry. And I'm a super fan of her. She is true blue, good girl. great songwriter and artist and entertainer. And so it's just been fun to have a different kind of be in it again singing, but then have the jewelry on the side to be able to be a part of it that way too, just sharing the jewelry with the girls. And so I don't know, I think it's just a beautiful season, and I'm happy to be back and be amongst just a lot of females. I think it's pretty powerful.
I'm gonna ask you something a lot outside the box here too, but I love having fun with this, and sometimes just take a little thought, sometimes it may not, but the cool thing is I love this. So all-time albums out there too. You mentioned music. Good music's always rising to the top, and you kind of jog the memory there too, because I love doing this. But for that out there too, do you have 3 or 4 maybe favorite all-time albums out there too that are across your platforms? And why would you choose these particular albums? And it could be any genre of music.
Well, I'm a fan of different artists for different reasons as a songwriter, and then I have them as an artist, and as a country fan. And I'm a fan of a lot of different styles of music. Of course, Trisha Yearwood's first album with She's in Love with the Boy on it is probably one of my top albums ever. Not only because it's Trisha Yearwood, she's one of the best singers around in females of all time, but just how she translates a song and how she sings it is just magnificent. But she was who inspired me to do country music, and I was able to tour with her. And so there's so much about Trisha Yearwood that, I don't know, resonates with me. I'm a huge fan of Michael McDonald. He's one of my favorite singers. So the Doobie Brothers, I play fairly often in my car. I know a lot of the parts. I love Hall & Oates. I listen to a lot of Hall & Oates. Yes. I always have. A lot of the new, I am downloading music all the time. So there's just a lot of different country artists passing through my ears, and I just love it. Like, I just recently wrote with Ashley Monroe, and I went to see her show the other night, and it's pretty phenomenal, her new music. And so I don't know, I can't say that night Shelby Lynn came out and sang, and she has a new record coming out on Monument. And one of her records, I Am Shelby Lynn, is one of my favorite records of all time. Great songwriting. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to just narrow it down to. It's so much great music out there too for decades, and it keeps impacting our lives in so many ways out there too as well. We got to impact a break here and come back. Final segment with Cyndi Thomson coming up here again. Slow Dancing in Jackson, Mississippi is what we're talking about right now, the latest single, and of course all the other great projects coming up here for 2024. We'll talk about jewelry here too, because if you buy from Cyndi, great too as well, but we love for you to buy from my guy out there, Tom Burley out there. Jewelry by Tommy, your perfect gift for your spouse, friend, or family member. Jewelry by Tommy's got you covered. Email our friend Tom Burley at burleysystem@yahoo.com today to order. Make sure you place it. Tell him you heard about it on the Backstage Pass. It's handcrafted, handmade. It is Jewelry by Tommy. Also Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter, recording artist too out there. Jonathan Bond out there. If you want that uplifting, positive country music out there and country Christian, check him out. JonathanBond.com right there. You can click the link, go right to his YouTube channel. Talked to him the other day, and boy, he's busy right now, getting ready for the Grand Ole Opry, June the 9th. For an event called Sunday Morning Country. Cyndi probably knows the name Jonathan Bond. He's been around for a long time in the country music and Christian music out there too as well. Quick time out here for our friends and our CMA Fest sponsors for 2024. And we're coming right back. Final segment with Cyndi Thomson, KKTC, True Country 99.9, and our friends at HighTideCountry.net. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
Ever thought about owning your own business? Tanya Lapsley-Cockett did. She decided a little over 5 years ago that she was going to be an entrepreneur, so she started her travel business. Tanya is married and works a full-time job. Her business has given her amazing opportunities. Not only does she get to help people create memories by booking their vacations, sporting and entertainment tickets, rental cars, etc., but it has also allowed her to help other families create legacy income. The travel industry is extremely lucrative and is an $8 trillion industry. The travel industry is projected to earn in excess of $15 trillion over the next 10 years. The travel industry pays its professionals up to 70 to 80% commission on the travel that they book for themselves and their clients. As a travel business owner, Tanya books travel and teaches others how to own and operate their own travel business. She is a director in training on the marketing side of her business, where she has helped over 90 families start their own businesses. If you're interested in owning your own travel business, please contact Tanya at 917-743-1199 or at ladytlc3555@me.com.
The Kate Gordon Show is a 2-hour show playing the best in country music. So check it out at thekatengordonshow.com. Again, that is thekatengordonshow.com.
And back here with Cyndi Thomson, final segment here too. KKTC, True Country 99.9 in Taos up there in Colorado too as well. And of course, hightidecountry.net and powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. Slow Dancing in Jackson, Mississippi is the current single across all the streaming platforms. April 12th it came out. Make sure you guys check it out if you have not already. All right, I'd like to have a little fun with this too. So it's always fun to do this, a rapid fire. You mentioned a story to me about, I said I would not ask her any sports questions, no stats, no players, nothing like that too. But a cool story where you got to take a picture with a soon-to-be, if not already, I believe he is probably, but Hall of Fame quarterback too, 2-time Super Bowl winner, Peyton Manning. Talk about that story and how your son factored into this too.
Okay, so I went to the BMI Awards with Natalie Hemby, one of my closest friends. She's an amazing songwriter, Grammy Award winner. Lots of songs she's written that you would know. And I was her date. And afterwards, we go to an after party. And as we're walking through this tiny little roped off area, I walk into, Luke Bryan and all these other artists. It's very small. And there's Peyton Manning. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I have to go get my picture with Peyton Manning. And I was like, wonder if you can ask to get your picture taken at a party like this. But I was like, you know what? I'm doing it for my son. So I introduced myself and I tell him my son actually got into the Manning Academy this summer, his camp that he does with his brothers and his dad. And he was asking all about my son. And so when I came home, my son was like, so you told him my name? How tall was he? It was just all these things. My son was like, so he said my name out loud. He just kept, I said, yes, he repeated your name to me. Okay. He knows your name, So anyway, it's crazy, but
I love it.
He's a great guy. It was a fun night.
Good night. You never know in Nashville who you're going to run into, especially those after parties too. That's crazy. Like I was sitting there at CRS this past year and I was sitting down with an artist and you try to compose yourself and go through with the interview and you look to your left and you're right there next to the stage, which is the big boardroom where they let you in right there, the exhibit room, what have you, where everything's set up and you see all the backstage stuff. And, you look across, you're like, yep, that's Jelly Roll right there too. And somebody's wanting to run over it. I'm like, no, we're doing
crazy.
This radio show. And I'm like looking over there and it's Blake Shelton, Gwen Stefani, and Jelly Roll standing right there too. You got sound checking for their performances during CRS. Just pretty cool. Puts a smile on your face. And for me, it's like, you fanboy for like 2 seconds and you're like, look up and you're like, somebody's wanting to, I said, I'm not chasing them. You can, but go ahead and do your thing. I got to do a radio show and what I was paid to do to come here to the beautiful city and deliver the listeners great country music and great interviews. But it's still cool to be around something like that too. And you're always right. You know what? If you don't take a risk, you'll never know in something like that. So you might as well go ask the questions because what have you got to lose, right?
You don't have anything to lose. And it's like, they don't mind. At the end of the day, I think most artists have that understanding of people that you encounter that want a picture with you. A lot of the times that's the only time they're ever going to get to meet you. And so you kind of always have to keep that in your heart to go, I'm going to take that picture with them because it means so much. So yeah.
Well, I love it too as well.
But country fans and country artists, they're pretty great about that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was kind of cool a couple of years ago seeing Laney in the lobby down there too, and just
Yeah.
like saying hi, picture there. Randall King comes through, picture.
Mhm.
This is a fun time to be a part of the radio side of it, and of course in country music doing media. All right, let's have a little fun with this. Your favorite food? Where do you like to go out to eat in Nashville when you go out when you're down there on Broadway?
Okay, why did you ask me that? I'm a foodie, so I love Italian, I love
Hmm.
cheeseburgers, I love sushi, and there's this Assembly Food Hall, which is kind of like an outdoor mall downtown, but they have the food hall that is to
Hmm.
die for. You can get anything you want in there, donuts, sushi, but it's the best. So I like to go
Ooh,
there.
I'm gonna try that out too as well. All right,
You gotta
favorite
go.
shows to binge watch on TV. What do you enjoy getting into?
Oh gosh. Well, recently I had the stomach flu, so I watched a
Mm,
lot of Netflix series. So I can, and all, not just Netflix, other ones I can recommend many to you. I'm a big fan of Viking shows.
mhm.
I know I shouldn't admit that because they're pretty violent, but I have watched them all. I have binge watched a ton of Viking shows. So
So, were you Game of Thrones fan?
I did not see that one. I should
Okay.
probably.
Yes, I'm not gonna ruin it for you. Just and then House of the
I,
Dragon. That was the prequel to.
Yeah, I heard. Okay, I need to probably dive into that. That's the only one.
Mhm.
Let's see what else. I liked Virgin River, just like
That's
all the
good.
other ladies.
Yeah.
I like anything romantic. I'm a sucker for that.
It
So,
tells a story, just like a good song out there too as well. I love that. And hey, I
right.
finally got my hot chicken on back at CRS this year, so I went to Hattie B's on Broadway,
Oh
and
yeah, how was it?
fantastic, loved it.
I know, right? So good.
Like the perfect blend of spice and just to right there to go, not too hot, but not too. The flavor was taste buds in your mouth just
I
exploding.
know. You're making my mouth water. Stop.
It's almost hey dinner time out there too as well.
It is.
Again, slow dancing in Jackson, Mississippi, across all the digital streaming platforms out there. Give her a like on social media. Hey, a pleasure and an honor to catch up with you here on the show. Looking forward to doing this more down the stretch as soon as more releases come out, more songs. Have you come back and do this? Would love to come out to the June 8th performance at CMA Fest, and we're there. Thanks so much for being with us. Hope you had a good time.
Yeah, thank you. I did. Thank you so much. And thank you for giving me a shout out on all my socials. Just come and follow me. It's Cyndi, Cyndi Thomson without a P, Thomson. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. So just that's where you're going to hear all the latest and keep up with what I'm doing. And my website, CyndiThomson.com.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you what, thanks for being with us. I'm looking forward to seeing you there in
Thank
Nashville at
you.
CMA
Me
Fest
too.
2024. Can't wait to see you back on stage doing what you do best. And hey, congrats on a great career. And I know there's more
Thank you.
to come ever since that album came out, which was spectacular. My World back in, we won't name the year. There you go. See, I promised her I wouldn't do that.
Just last
But
year.
just last year with some great songs off of it too as well. We're back tomorrow, triple header here. George Dukas coming by and our friend 20's doing some big things out there too for females in country music. Huge listening audience in the UK. My goodness, she's spectacular. And of course, a lot more things. Doug Gray coming up here, the Marshall Tucker Band in a few weeks, and the great Pam Tillis right here on the Backstage Pass. Looking forward to that here. KKTC True Country 99.9. And our friends at HighTideCountry.net, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. We're back tomorrow about 3:30. George Dukas is going to join us here on the program. He's got that Bakersfield Dwight Yoakam kind of sound to him too with a new single out. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. We'll see you soon. Take care and God bless.